Yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video, I wanted to share with you guys my cycling fitness progress, particularly when it comes to my power output for any given segmented effort. And the reason why I wanted to show you guys this is because if you're anything like me, you probably have had days or even weeks where you've felt a little bit unmotivated as far as getting out there on the bike. Maybe you felt like your fitness progress hasn't really been progressing as quickly or as consistently as you've been wanting it week in and month out. And so whenever I feel this way, this is when I come back to the spreadsheet, which shows all of my progress. And it helps me to really see that my fitness has in fact been progressing over this last 8 or 9 months. And then also highlight some of the gaps and things that I may need to work on in the off season. And so I think for all of us, I think it's really important to keep track of your progress and all of your fitness. Now, of course, we know that Strava and other apps, they do keep track of all of our numbers and our data. But I think having a spreadsheet like this that is easy to get to and you can see everything at a glance will keep you just a little bit more motivated now that we are more than halfway through the season. So just looking here, guys, you guys can see this is all in chronological order here. We have the date, power meter, distance, and all of my different power numbers that I've been able to put out in any given amount of time. So of course we have the date. Now looking at the column for power meter here. So the Quark power meter, that is my crank-based power meter. That is what I'm running on my Specialized LA Sprint. And that is the bike that I run most of the time. And so I feel that the numbers on that are the most accurate and are the numbers that I go off of. The Power Tap P2 power meter pedals, I have those on my Yolio frame. I do believe that those numbers are a little bit more inflated, so I don't trust them as much. I have not done a comparison between the Quark and the Power Tap pedals, so I don't really know for sure, but I just use the Quark most of the time on my Sprint. So that's the numbers that I go off of here. Now I have distance on here included as well, just for some context along with the notes, because for some of these power numbers, I think it's important to sort of show, okay, at what point during the ride and for how long of a distance was I able to put out these particular numbers here. And of course, we have the type category, whether it was doing a solo ride, a race, or even a group ride. And the reason why I'm focusing in on power number is because when it comes to speed, we know there are so many variables that comes with that. There's the weather, there's drafting if you're in a group ride, all these different things. But when it comes to power, that's the one thing that can be consistent. Now, I should also include the fact that when it comes to these power numbers, again, these are just numbers. Everyone is going to be different. And even within these numbers, there are some variables as well. I didn't include heart rate because, I mean, as we know with heart rate, if I am able to put out a good amount of power at a lower heart rate, that could either mean I'm just having a good day. It could mean that I am progressing as far as my heart goes. But the power numbers is just what I use as a gauge to kind of see where I'm at month in and month out. So starting with like this 15-second effort here. So the cells that are highlighted in blue is my personal best that I've been able to do with the Quark power meter here. So 820 watts for 15 seconds is pretty good in my opinion, especially when you look at some of these past numbers here. At any point, I think even with the Power Tap, 785 watts, and that was back in November. And so now moving forward here, right, it's been about 9 months. I'm at 828 here. And I do remember this day particularly because I remember I was doing a group ride and someone went to attack off the front. And so I went to chase them down. And so I had to dig pretty deep to catch them here. Some of these other ones for my 30-second, 1 minute, and 2 minute numbers here. These were just some of the local Strava KOMs in my area that I was trying to get, which I did get because I am the man now. Just kidding, not really. But 639 watts for 30 seconds. That also is pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that, especially when you, again, look at some of these other numbers in the past. Now, this one here, this was back in November, 664 watts. It's highlighted in purple because that is my personal best with the Power Tap P2 pedals. But I don't really trust that number. Like I said, I think Power Tap inflates the numbers a little bit. So I'm going off of the 639 watts with the Quark power meter, which again, that's a number I'm proud of. I would say my biggest sort of proud moment here, again, I was chasing after a Strava K-Lim, was 540 watts for a whole entire minute. This one was really difficult. I was basically dying at the end of it, but I'm happy that I was able to put that number out. Now, again, this could be a mix of just that my fitness progression is in fact getting better every single month, when you consider that some of my other previous personal bests are nowhere near that number here. And I think it could also be showing the fact that perhaps I haven't been digging as deep or going full gas as much as I thought I have been. And so now I know that, okay, you know, this is a number that I can do week in and week out, and I'm going to try to get the number higher up. Some of these other ones, you know, 2 minutes, 367 watts, that's fine, whatever here. But then you move on to some of these sort of longer efforts here, particularly the 10-minute and the 20-minute effort here. So going back to the 10-minute here, my personal best here was 283 watts for 10 minutes. And I remember that day because I was trying to do 300 watt intervals at 5 minutes. I think I was trying to do 4 times 5 minute intervals at 300, and that was tough, because my goal at the end of this season, guys, is still the same. I want to be able to do 300 watts for 20 minutes. Right now my current weight is somewhere between 73 74 kilograms, so about 162 163 pounds. So I would need to be at 4 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. And so looking at the 20-minute effort here, you can see that my personal best is 267 watts for 20 minutes. Now, this doesn't mean that this is my absolute maximum effort here, because, oh, who's trying to text me here? Yikes. Now, this doesn't mean this is my absolute maximum effort here, because, you know, I wasn't going full gas, and I didn't dig that deep to the point where I could no longer put out any numbers afterwards. This is just what my best has been for 20 minutes. And to be honest here, especially when you're in races or even group rides, it's almost impossible to put out 300 watts for 20 minutes here. You know, there's just, you're drafting, there's what else, the weather conditions. And so I think that'll be something I'll have to test once the weather gets bad here, when it gets a little bit colder and more rainy, where I can be on the trainer indoors and try to completely empty the tank out and try to go for that 300 watts for 20 minutes here. And some of the other ones here, you can see my personal best for 2 hours was 204 watts. That was for 2 hours here. That's just sort of endurance effort here. But overall, guys, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys just quickly at a glance my fitness progress over the last month. And overall, I have to say that I'm very satisfied. I'm proud that I have had progress over these past months. I have been a little bit less focused on my very specific training goals. And so this is why I end up coming back to the spreadsheet, just to remind myself and say to, hey, just continue to trust the progress, continue to have regular training with some of these sprinted efforts. And that way, overall, my fitness will continue to progress. And I think in the off season, I'm going to implement some weight training. I'm going to probably maybe even get some coaching. I don't really know yet, but there are definitely some gaps on this spreadsheet as far as my power numbers goes, to where I can really focus on, because some of these races I've done, it's been very apparent where I'm lacking with all of the surging that happens in racing. So that's about it, guys. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, if I left anything out, if you object to anything I have here as far as power number goes, if there's anything that you feel like I could learn or benefit from this spreadsheet, something that I haven't even mentioned or spoken about, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will check you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.